What's up, folks? Welcome back to the channel. So I have a quick tutorial slash quick tip look at the environment probe component. Now, if you were wondering how I lit my small little cave here, it was through a environment probe. Now, what I like to do usually, and this comes from using the component entity system in Unity, is I like to structure my world behind a component. So if you've seen this in previous tutorial videos, you see I have an environment. My environment holds my rocks, it'll hold my buildings, my everything. It will hold everything. On the environment, I'll run scripts that are globally entailed. So a countdown in a game, I will run that through. I'll put that script on my environment, or I might call this global, or whatever the case. So on environment, I have an environment probe, and that is a component that you can find under, where is it at? I think it's under rendering. Yeah, so under rendering, you have different lights, and then you have an environment probe. A lot of these things that are not labeled, those are for the starter game, so I probably won't go over those because they were created just for the starter game. I might look into them and see how they were handled, but I digress. That's a different story. But that's where you will find it. Let's click out of it. And for ours, we have, a lot of variables and things that we can change. You can see that I changed mine to a color of like a light green, which looks kind of teal in a sense here. Its course is going to be visible. So if you want it to be visible on initially, unless you want to activate it via code, Lua code for when you enter a certain area. Environment probes are really good for setting lighting, proper lighting, and shadows via cube maps. So they can be used in different parts of the area. Maybe you want a gloomy, shadowy area like a alley, and then you want a bright and sunny area like in like a neighborhood or something like that. You would use environment probes to simulate that along with the time of day editor to help out with that. So we have a color. Like I said, I can change this to any color I want, a red or a yellow, a purple, a blue, a lighter blue. And then you have this diffuse multiplier, which gives you, it multiplies your diffuser, which is your color. So it's going to multiply the color that we set. So if I want to change this to, let's say 5, it's going to give us a more, of course, a brighter outlook. So depending on your project and whatever you want to do, that's what you would set it for. And then we have area dimensions, and this is important because this is your coverage. So if I was to set this back to 50 or even 100, you're going to see it get darker in areas because it doesn't have that reach anymore. So now it stops about here. 50 is where it starts. It's about right there. So the area dimensions is really important. Let's set this back. Let's set it to about 600, and I'll get coverage pretty much my whole cave. All right, and your resolution, it gives you different options. Default is usually good enough unless you find a reason to up it, but your default resolution is good enough unless you're starting to see artifacts that needs higher resolution or something to that nature. I haven't really had a reason to change that, so I'm not sure what the needs would be. Also, you have things like animation. So if I wanted, and this is really cool because it's built into the probe. So if I wanted to change this to say 2. So as you can see, I have like a glow in my cave. Now, if I was to add different things like crystals or a light that simulates going off and on with this animation, it would give it a more feel that the light is going off and on or in and out or whatever, however you want to look at it. And that's just built into the probe. I hadn't do any coding or anything like that, so that's cool. And last but not least, we have cube map generation. Now, when you set these things, you might not see anything in the editor. You may, you might not, but to make sure that it generates successfully, you want to click generate. It might take a while the very first time, but when you make changes and things of that nature and change major properties, you want to generate here so it'll take those changes. And yeah, you can also use a custom cube map if you want. I haven't did that. I choose the one that it gets created. But yeah, that is the environment probe, guys. Make use of it. Hope you guys incorporate it into your projects. This is a new way of doing it versus my old tutorial, which was using the old entity system. this uses the component system, which is built right into the component. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Very quick, just a little quick tip for you guys. And yeah, I will catch you guys in the next video. Always remember, guys, to keep developing.